to get is information. Let me close my analyze data over here. I'm trying to get information on go find laptops and give me back the revenue. That's all I need. I just need you to go look up laptop and give me back what the revenue was for each instance, for each week, for laptop sales for each week. So I come over here, I do my equal, I do X, right? There's not a whole lot of functions that start with the letter X. So I just type in the letter X and look what I got. I got all the functions that start with the letter X, and there's Xlookup right there. Now, when I do a single left click, it searches for a range, for a match. So it's going to look in column B for a match called laptop and give me the corresponding item from the second range. What's the second range? Is going to be the revenue column. Xlookup, what's my lookup value? So in a lookup function, the lookup value is the one piece of information you do know, okay? And that's laptop, right? I know I need the revenue for laptops, right? So whenever you put text in a function or in a formula in Excel, you have to surround it with quotation marks. Always, always. If you remember nothing else from today, remember that, because you're always going to get an error that you don't understand because it doesn't, like Microsoft, I'm like, sometimes too techy for their own good. And the error that pops up doesn't say, hey, dummy, put quotation marks around your text, right? It doesn't say that. It has some sort of syntax and blah, blah, blah. And you're like, what? Remember that. Quotations around any text. What's happening here is when I click on that Xlookup from the list that was highlighted in blue, and I double click it, it starts the formula for me, which is awesome. Makes life easy, right? So then it's giving you a cheat sheet underneath to say, we're going to walk you through this. You're manually kind of typing in this formula. You're creating it on your own. You're creating that magic. Let us walk you through this. But sometimes, again, the verbiage isn't very clear on what it's looking for. So the lookup value is, we're looking up in column B to find laptop, then comma, okay? Now look what's here in bold. So every time you put a comma, it's giving you, okay, boom, here's the next piece of information we need. Then go get that, then type your comma in, and then boom, it's going to go over to what information do you want us to return based on laptop, okay? So I'm going to go look up array B2. So I want it to, so right now I'm in row 2. So I'm just going to say, go look in column B. Same row 2, but just go look in column B. And look for the word laptop. Okay. And it's like, okay, there's my lookup array, cell B2. Now I'm going to copy this all the way down eventually. It's going to create a relative, right, Ray? A relative reference. In other words, if I'm in row 2, then obviously go look up what's in B2, in this case, column B. But still stay in row 2. And if I'm in row 3 looking for laptop, then you're looking in row 3, right? So that's what I mean by relative. Stay relative to the row that I'm in. Stay in this row. I'm looking for data across this row. And then I come over and I say, okay, what's the return array? Notice that's in bold right now too. So where are we trying to get the information from? Go look up laptop, but what about laptop? What are you trying to get from laptop? I'm trying to get the revenue. Okay, where's the revenue? It's in D2, comma. Okay, no spaces. I know we are trained to put a space after every time we put a comma, right? We're not in Word right now. We're in Excel. No space. After D2, comma, what if laptop is not found? Because not for nothing, but it's probably not going to be found here because camera's there, not laptop, right? But as we copy this formula down, there are going to be instances where we are going to find laptop. So what do I want it to come back with? What do I want it to tell me? Well, I could say not found, but again, in quotation marks, right? Come back and say laptop was not found. Okay, and you can put anything you want there. I could put a 0. I could put a nada, not a 0. We didn't find laptop at all, nada, right? And then close your parentheses. So here's the formula. Go look up. Now, this column here, column B, is not the furthest left column in this spreadsheet. The week ending, these dates, are the first leftmost column in this spreadsheet. So that's one thing that differentiates a VLOOKUP from an XLOOKUP, is that if I had a VLOOKUP here, I would get an error because it would say, yeah, we can't find laptop because we're looking in, no matter what you're putting here, we're looking in the first column because it's supposed to be in the first column. XLOOKUP closed that out the door and said, we don't care where it is. You can look up any column anywhere it is. It doesn't have to be the furthest left column, which is great. So then you're saying, go find the word laptop in column B2 and give me back the corresponding row, what's in D2. Boom. Nada. Why did I get nada? Because camera, not laptop, is in B2. Okay. So now if I take my fill handle, double left click, boom. It's going all the way down 100 and something rows, 101 rows, whatever, 101, yeah. And it's giving me, every time it sees laptop, you should see a number there. Every time it doesn't see laptop, you should see nada. Okay.
Right.
So that's Xlookup and Vlookup. And I will tell you that even though it feels like it's a little advanced, that is a very common feature. That's a very common function in Excel. I use it. Whenever I do corporate training, they use it. It is used all day, every day from many, many businesses for many, many reasons. Now, I will show you real quick the Vlookup. So I have this scenario and, okay, I'll do this one. The Vlookup is vertical, meaning go find this information and just give it back to me, right? Vlookup means my information has to be the furthest left column. So I'm trying to figure out here, I'm going to order seeds because I own a greenhouse, right? And if you guys have ever ordered anything online, like, you know, that Finger Hut magazine or that flyer that you used to get in the mail and it had all like these cheesy gifts and stuff, and it would have like the item number and what the name of the item was and the description and the size and the color and all that stuff, right? So if I come over here to the seed list, that's exactly what this is. So here's the item number, here's the description, here's the color, how many seeds per pack, and the price per pack, right? So if I go to order form here and I say, you know what, I need to look up a specific order number, but what I need to get out of that is what's the description, what's the color, what's how many seeds per pack, what's the price, right? So if I look here, the Dandy Dahlia, whatever, right? This Vlookup, what it's doing is it's going to look up the one piece of information we do know. What is that? The catalog number. Where is that? It's in B16. So that's your lookup array. That's the piece of information we need to go find. And then when you go find that, Excel, give me back the corresponding row, the description of what that is, the color, how many seeds per pack, the price per pack, and so on. So I'll do one real quick with you. All right, so this one, catalog number 1298-0. Okay, I'm going to go equal Vlookup, right? So Vlookup. And I can use Vlookup because in my seed list, that catalog number is the furthest left column in that spreadsheet, is the catalog number. So I'm okay with that. So this one is not going to really look much different than the Xlookup, okay? So I'm going to double click and it's going to start helping me create that formula. What's the lookup value? Right here. I'm looking up the catalog number. That's the one piece of information I do know here. I just don't know what this description is. I don't know what the color is, the seeds per pack, so on and so on. So I hit comma, and what's my table array? The table array is the seed list, right? So if I come back over to seed list and I say, give me from here to here, right? Give me all, this is my table right here. Look up the seed list. Cool. And then come back over to the order form. And then what is the other piece of information I need? So seeds, it's a table. So there's my table array, it's called seeds. So in the seed list sheet tab, that information in that spreadsheet is converted to a table, which is really what you should do when you're dealing with Vlookup, Xlookup, and things like that. So the table array is seeds. I don't even have to put A2 to, you know, G, whatever it was, right? I just call it seeds. And then what? Comma. And what's the piece of information I need to get back? So think of that table, even though it was A, B, C, right? Think of those columns as the first column, the second column, the third column, the fourth column, and so on. So the catalog number was the first column. The description was the second column. So I just put the number 2 there. Go look up what's in that first column, find this catalog number, and then go to the second column next to that catalog number and give me back what's in there. So you guys ready? So 1298-0, Marigold, Lady Hybrids, let's go see. 1298-0, Lady Hybrids, Marigold, blah, blah, blah. So then I could change that formula and I could say, okay, now as far as the color, let me come back here. Okay, equal Vlookup. Same thing. The one piece of information I do know is the catalog number. The table array is seeds. Cool. There it is right there. Comma. Give me back what's in column 3 now, because that's where the color is. Boom. And so on and so on. So that's a Vlookup. Not a whole lot different, but what you saw here was a little bit different in the sense that I was not in the same sheet. Where before with the Xlookup, I did it in the column right next to where all the data was. So I was working in the same sheet. This is working in 2 separate sheets where I'm trying to put the information in one sheet, but the data that I need to extract from is in another sheet. So you just kind of saw how that worked. I wasn't too much more time on it, but Vlookup, Xlookup, and Hlookup. Xlookup is really taking over the need for the Vlookup and the HLOOkup. You don't need it anymore.